Today, India stands as the third largest producer of drugs and pharmaceuticals, just behind the US and China. We've earned the distinction of being the pharmacy of the world. The sector is poised to move from $55 billion today to $130 billion by 2030. This explosive growth will lead to a lot of job opportunities. Yet, there is a striking challenge we need to address in order to tap into this explosive growth. Women's participation in the pharma sector is abysmally low. Only 11% women are employed in the largest of pharmaceutical companies in India. Why is that? Why does this gender gap persist in a sector that is growing so fast and is knowledge intensive? What are the structural barriers that hold women back? And what are the interventions that we need to make today in order to unlock the potential of half of our workforce? Hello and welcome to Udaiti Dialogues on Women and Economic Growth, a forum where we explore insights at the intersection of women, work, and growth through conversations with leaders from industry, government, civil society to better understand what inclusive growth looks like as India progresses towards becoming Viksit Bharat. Joining me today is someone who needs no introduction. A leader and a visionary in the pharma sector, he has scaled Dr. Reddy's into a global powerhouse and also reimagined what inclusive leadership and opportunity looks like across shop floors, labs, and boardrooms. Mr. G.V. Prasad, welcome to Udaiti Dialogues.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this show.
Prasad, a few months ago, I visited one of Dr. Reddy's plants in Vizag.
Yeah.
And what struck me was the number of women on some of the shop floors in the labs. I spent the day talking to the women and the men, the plant heads, supervisors, really understanding what are the different challenges of having women in these roles. And what really struck me at the end of the day, it is very hard to build the pipeline for women and then to retain it. Yet, Dr. Reddy's is the only pharma company in India that has participated in Bloomberg's Gender Equality Index over the last 6 years. And you have persisted in your commitment year after year. Take us through your journey of, why you committed to it and why it matters to you that we have a gender balanced workforce.
Very interesting question, but if I think back of when this idea came to me that we need more women in the workforce, it's probably about 30 years ago or something. I had hired a chemical engineer who was helping me in my work. She was a very talented person, but she wanted to go to the plant and make an impact there because her background was chemical engineering. And she went to one of the plants and said, I came back and I'm the only woman who was in the plant the whole day. She said this and it really struck me that something is wrong in this work culture or work systems we had at this time. And I requested my senior leaders to start hiring women in the plants. There was a lot of resistance. First they said, women wear saris, the saris can get caught in the equipment and it could be a danger. I said that we can easily overcome. We can give them a uniform which works for them and which is also safe for them. That we overcame. Then they said we don't have washrooms and for women and facilities for them. So let's create them, and we created them. So like that we broke one barrier after the other. But still I must say that the attitudes are that women can't do B shift, night shift. They want to be treated special, which is not the case. Now we have women in all shifts. So slowly we changed attitudes, but we're still far away from where we should be. We do have a larger number of women than other companies. But if you look at where we are relative to the population, we have a huge gap.
Yeah.
You have a huge gap everywhere. In fact, the only place where we have good gender balance is our board. We have 3 women on our board. But I realize that change takes time. We have to, persist. We have to create the right conditions, and we also have to understand the supply side. You said before our show, you said supply side is not the problem, demand side is a problem. Here I'm sitting here and saying demand is not the problem, supply is the problem.
Right.
We don't get enough women candidates signing up for work. We don't get enough women candidates for certain classes of jobs. We don't have enough women, candidates for leadership positions. When we ask our recruiters to give us more women candidates for leadership, we don't ordinarily get.
Yeah.
Usually it is a soft disciplines like HR, finance, where we see women, even in science.
Yeah.
But we don't get a lot of women candidates when we go out looking in many of the disciplines.
Right.
So the demand side is a problem, and I don't think it's just a issue of education or a workforce. I think society, societal norms, societal expectations, in-laws, husband, children. The women have a lot of other challenges apart from their careers, which they have to balance out.
Right.
And expectations have to change. Spouses have to take on greater load. In-laws have to create conditions which empower the women.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to change.
Absolutely.
And it's not just the organizations that can do this.
Yeah.
It is up to everybody.
It is a complex socio-economic problem.
Yeah.
And to what you're saying, Prasad, when I spoke to some of the women, they sometimes they are starting from home at 4 o'clock or, or whatever, 7 o'clock for the 7 o'clock shift. They're getting up at 4 o'clock. And I asked them, so they said, we get up, we prepare our children's tiffins, get everything ready before we get on the bus, and then it takes us an hour and a half to reach the place. And I said, does anyone else at your home help you with making the children's tiffins or waking them up? Unequivocally, not a single person said that, okay, sometimes my husband will do it or sometimes my in-laws would do it. So the burden is there.
Yeah. So these women are doing effectively multiple roles.
That's right.
Not just their career, they're running the household, they're taking care of the children, they're taking care of the parents. Right. So it's quite a challenge for them.
Absolutely.
And hence society has to change if we have to improve women in jobs.
Absolutely. And it is, these gender norms, you're right, Prasad, that these gender norms need to be questioned, but they will only get questioned when we see role models, because these are not in only our heads and behavior, they are embedded in the infrastructure we have created, in the design we have made of our policies, urban infrastructure, and also our policies that sometimes hold women back. Like there were some 53 laws in the country that prohibit women from working, which now are being dismantled systematically across states. Yeah. But Prasad, despite all of those challenges, you actually set some bold targets for that. You said 35% women in leadership, gender parity by 2035. And when I talk to a lot of many leaders will shy away from setting targets. And they say there are all sorts of challenges in setting targets. Take us through your thinking on why you thought setting targets was important, and more importantly, how you convince the different stakeholders to actually buy into that.
The 36% or women in leadership didn't appear to be a huge challenge to me. Because we have very good talent. It's available out there. We just have to provide them the right environment to move up. Of course, we are at 20% now. Yeah. But, I think the leadership is about 200 jobs. So the numbers can be can be easily achieved if we put our mind to it. But you need to put your mind to it. You need to focus on it. You need to have leadership committed to this. The gender parity goal, I thought we took a long horizon, 10 years plus, so we can achieve it. But as I see every year go by, I think we are not making that much progress, especially in India. In some of our global locations, we are well past parity. In some countries, we are 70% women. So there is something in our Indian environment that needs to change dramatically. There is change. There is incrementally better conditions for women now, but we need more radical change for to achieve parity in employment. I'm feeling a little, discouraged by the lack of dramatic change in society. And even if we want to bring to gender parity, and we are trying in many entry-level positions, we are hiring more women than men.
Yeah.
So for some of our programs, the slate is 60%, and in some jobs we are saying these are solely for women.
Yeah.
So there'll be a all-woman job, all-woman CADA in QC, or an all-woman sales force for certain products, but progress is very slow. We have to still persist.
Prasad, in your mind, why should anyone care about getting more women into the organization?
So I can give you the historical disparity and inequity that we had against women. But as a businessman, I'll say it's a competitive advantage. If you have a pool of talent which is much larger than just the men, you have access to diversity of views, creativity, a larger talent pool, and overall, as an employer, if your target base is much bigger than what it is, it's a competitive advantage.
Absolutely.
Apart from the historical inequity and inequality that women went through, which needs to be corrected, but we're not correcting it. We're just making it equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at least on the decision-making side, in household decision-making, you actually see women make so many of the household decisions, purchasing decisions. So it makes sense for the leadership in companies to represent at least that perspective of the decision maker, the actual customer who's making purchasing decisions.
True.
You are probably most familiar with this tension that a listed company faces with the short-term quarterly goals and the long-term value of goals like gender parity and sustainable initiatives. How do you balance that kind of eye on the profitability and the quarterly targets, and keeping that eye on the long-term goal for innovation and gender parity?
Like I said, they are not incompatible. To meet your quarterly goals doesn't mean you sacrifice other things. You can do both, and that's why we need talented leaders who can achieve both the short term, the long term, and commit to values and do the right thing for all stakeholders. It's not just either or. It's never either or.
Yeah.
You can't just say, I'm going to meet my targets and I really don't care about anything else. We don't have such leaders. All our leaders are committed to sustainability, inclusivity, equity, as well as performance.
Right.
And achieve performance while doing all these things. And they are not incompatible. We can do both, and both equally well.
Right. And I sense that in my conversations, Prasad, and the plant, as I was talking to different people, pretty much everybody seemed to know the goals. And they were like, we want to get there. And they were very curious about what other companies in the sector or outside the sector are doing. And they said, after the conversations, if there are any ideas you can give us on improving that, please do let us know. So that was really gratifying to see how kind of it has filtered all the way to the shop floor. There are 4 different areas, like when you look at the volume of people, one is women in manufacturing, the other is women in sales, and both face different set of challenges. In women in manufacturing, there are all sorts of, physical demands, infrastructure needs, again, gender norms that you talked about. But I think there more progress is being made. How have you addressed that in your manufacturing plants?
So, firstly, I think man or woman, we don't want work to be a drudgery. We want work to be value adding, should be easy, muscle power should not be used, people should not carry heavy weights, people should not put physical effort in their work. We must make the workplace easy for getting things done easily, and things which are repetitive should be automated or mechanized. That's a philosophy we have in manufacturing and also in our R&D and in our labs also. When you do that, the human being focuses on other value added stuff which machines cannot do and which need creativity, problem solving skills, ability to diagnose, understand and improve. So our philosophy is to move work to that level both for men and women. So there is no such thing as men are stronger so they can do the physical lifting, women are weak, they cannot do it. Nobody should use their muscles for doing work. They should use their whole personality, their creativity, their brain power, and some skills you need which are psychomotor skills, but not muscle power.
Coming to women in sales, I know a large part of your workforce is medical reps, and there the problems are a different,
much more challenging.
Much more challenging.
Yeah.
What would you say are the problems, and what is it that can be done to address that?
In our business, the salesman's work is very tough.
Yeah.
They have to visit multiple doctors, communicate with them, find a moment of their time. Among the time they have patients, they have to find some time. So they have to wait outside the doctor's clinic for a long time. And it's a tough job. And on top of that, the environment is not very conducive, safe, and like you mentioned, infrastructure, washrooms, waiting areas are not there for, the men somehow have managed it.
Yeah.
And it's not a great place even for them. Of course, things are changing where the field force is becoming more knowledge intensive. People are using digital tools, so it is changing. And as it changes, I think more women will come into this space.
Yeah. On manufacturing, also, Prasad, there is like the infrastructure in many of the companies still remains the issue on shop floor, right?
That's an easy problem.
And that is what the companies can do. But just even starting with that women washrooms and changing rooms are there.
Yeah.
And so at a company level, some of those infrastructure challenges can be removed.
Yeah.
I know that when we talk to some of the salespeople at Dr. Reddy's, women's sales employees, they talked about the fact that the helmets that they use are heavy. By the time the shift ends, their heads are hurting. And so I think you have provided specific helmets for women now. And so some of these infrastructure and equipment shifts can be done at a company level.
Yes.
There are, of course, the bigger complex challenges of gender norms, which will take its time.
We have a campus, 150 acres, and we have multiple plants there. Each plant is a different kind of plant. One is a formulation plant, one is a biologics plant, one is an R&D center. So each of it is an establishment as defined in the Shops and Establishment Act or Factories Act. The Inspector of Factories asks us to have a creche for each of these places. And that destroys our ability to get staff, get high quality resources which can be shaped and all that. Every time I bring it up to my people, they keep saying, but the Inspector of Factories puts this as a notice for us. I said, bring that guy, let's talk to him. We'll create a beautiful creche which can be shared by all the facilities. But this is how bureaucrats work, how the rules are enforced mindlessly. And this is not going to help,
Yeah. And I mean, this is destroying value in a way, because
if you have small creches, you don't have the ability to create a lovely place for the children or have well-trained people who can manage it better. things.
My second company that I started was in early years education and care called IntelliThougts, and that was acquired by Clay. And so we used to run creches for a lot of large multinationals. And I realized that, just the cost of having a good administrator, a good educator to take care of the children, there are some fixed costs that you need to have. So having a 2, 3 children, 5 children creche is absolutely suboptimal.
Terrible, yes.
Prasad, one of the programs that kept coming up when I met with people in your plant was the SMT program, the self-managed team program. Tell us about how you conceptualized it, designed it, what was the idea behind it, and how has it been doing so far?
So this is a program which I'm very proud of. We started over 20 years ago when we were creating a greenfield plant in a location called Yanam in close to Kakinada. We wanted to create an organization which is flat, people are empowered, the frontline people, and molded with the right values and culture. So we learned from other companies. DuPont had a similar system. German companies in general have this internship program where you study as well as do work in parallel. This is their way of skilling their workforce. So we combined some of these principles and we started this program with the help of some external consultants and also passionate individuals within the organization. The system brings in people after their 12th standard, gives them some orientation, some training for the job and builds the skills. So initially it starts with skills, vocational skills, and then it evolves into life skills and also into subject skills, and also gives them an opportunity to pursue a degree. And it could be an engineering degree, a pharmacy degree, or a science degree. So this is really a program where they do the work while they earn, while they learn, and also create a career path for themselves. So this is a fantastic program in terms of getting people to actually do physical work, which is done by usually unskilled people, and then once they join as a worker, they retire as a worker. We took that out and said no job will be a dead-end job at Dr. Reddy's. They'll join the organization, do the work for a period of time, grow, earn a degree, evolve, either move horizontally or vertically, and have a career path. So every employee in Dr. Reddy's should have the option to grow vertically. If they choose not to grow, that's their decision. But we will provide them the opportunities. So in a way, these are all people coming from disadvantaged backgrounds, but they have to work at the age of 18, 19. They have to, have that need. So these are needy people who can't afford education, who get into the informal jobs and work or daily wage kind of jobs. So it's a win for the individual. It's also a win for society because these are people who become much more productive as part of the SMT program and grow and create value in society for their families. And also it's a win for the company because the company benefits from a non-unionized, rigid workforce to people who look to their jobs as their platform for growth. So it's a win for the individual, it's a win for society, it's a win for the company. And it has been very successful.
Prasad, one of the other problems that we face is so much is invested on the skilling programs, but there is still such a large gap between skilling and employability. And I feel like a program like this solves for
it
that.
Does solve, and there are many companies trying many experiments. Recently we studied a bunch of companies like TVS Motors, Amar Raja Batteries. Each of them has a unique model of skilling. But I think our program is a little more special because it gives them a formal degree. While in many cases a formal degree should not matter, if the guy has the skills and knowledge, he should be able to grow, but companies are still not ready for that. They want the individual to have a formal degree to give him a certain position. In fact, there's a minimum qualification engineering graduate. You see all this. Of course, it will change in the future, but today it is the reality. So it's very aspirational for the youth to get a formal degree. If they can do it while supporting their family and earning a living, it's fantastic. And this is what we do through this program.
And this has the opportunity to scale across the sector, or maybe across the pharma sector, so that we can build a talent pipeline.
Yeah, not just the pharma sector. Any industrial operation should adopt this.
Right.
Instead of taking these temporary workers and doing this high turnover, it's a safety issue. They don't have the right skills. They're also in a desperate situation. So in many ways, if companies adopt this thing, it will be a powerful movement and for employability, growth, and education.
Absolutely.
For the SMT program, we now take 60% women in the entry level. So this is another way of creating more opportunities for women.
Yeah. And some of the people I met, they were like, their parents are farmers, and now they have been there for 5, 8, 9 years, and have grown into many different...
Into managerial roles. There are people managing plants, departments. So we have this program called SMT to SLT. SMT is the entry-level self-managed team member. Senior leadership team is managing the plant. So we want career paths for all these people from SMT to SLT.
Right. Like you said, because women's career trajectories differ much from men, and there will be points where they drop out of the workforce. Therefore, just building a larger pipeline is very important. And therefore, your point of saying we take 60% women, there will be attrition because of the move due to maternity or,
But we provide for that. We have good systems to provide for the maternity leave and for them to come back and be assimilated during their leave, keeping them engaged. We have many such programs which will ensure that, or at least give them the opportunity not to drop out but come back, rejoin. And we have a decent success rate there.
Yeah, and the numbers actually tell that story, because the attrition after return from maternity is, I think it's like 3-4%, if I remember that right. So at Udaiti, we have a program called Close the Gender Gap 30 by 30. So we are trying to take this percentage of women in formal economy from 18% to 30%. And we have identified 8 high growth sectors. Pharma is one of them. In pharma, the percentage of women is only 11%. We are working with the industry, with government, civil society, industrial associations like IPA, to really see how we can take this from 11% to 25% by 2030. What, according to you, would be some of those measurable, actionable things that industry can do to make it happen? And what role can government play in making that happen?
So, I'm not sure what the government should do, but industry and organizations like yours can improve the supply side of the equation.
Right.
We still find it difficult to hire women. And if we can somehow find ways to increase the pool, and we have to start early in the, of orienting them towards professional work in manufacturing or in science or in sales, the non-traditional places for women. Banking has a high rate of women, software has. Increasingly, scientific disciplines are also attracting women. But manufacturing is not really considered an attractive place for women. We should change that perception. And we should build the supply side to meet this demand. If you want to change the needle, manufacturing is the large employer.
And the and we are trying to attract manufacturing into the country. When I look at the data from ITI and polytechnics, basically women do not enroll in any of these trades. Literally, the trades, the top 10 trades where employability options are available, and the top 10 trades where women are enrolled, it is mutually exclusive.
Correct.
So I think just building some of the role models, ensuring that women know what kind of career paths they could have would be very important. Prasad, as the pharma sector is growing rapidly. I think there are estimates that it will grow from $55 billion today to about $130 billion by 2030. In your mind, what does success look like as pharma industry in India grows to become that major global powerhouse?
So, if you look at the sector, I think the Indian pharmaceutical sector is a major force in the world today in the space of active ingredients, generics, and increasingly services. But we are yet to make an impact in innovation, in discovering drugs and launching them globally. There's one or two products which are coming out from the industry. But if you look at where China is, they have become the number 2 innovator in the world after the US. They've overtaken Europe, Japan, everybody else. So we have to get there. And this is a huge opportunity for the pharmaceutical industry as well as people who work in the industry, people who do scientific work, PhDs. So there is huge opportunity there for people to transform the industry.
Right.
But they have to move from cost-based competition in generics to science and technology-driven breakthrough innovation.
Right.
And that's not a linear journey. It's very different.
Yeah.
But opportunity is there. China has shown us it can be done. So we should, take inspiration from there and do it.
Yeah. And then we should unlock the talent, right? And use our talent efficiently.
Yeah.
If we are saying there are 51% women graduates, 44-45% in STEM graduates now, but in formal economy we only have 18%. In pharma we have only 11% women.
Yeah.
So
we have to start with creating the talent, which is, you talked about ITIs and all that. When I went to engineering college, we had 120 students in our batch, we had 5 girls. That's before the software industry happened.
Right.
Once the software industry happened, women went there.
Yeah.
So similarly, if you start making manufacturing an attractive destination, you can move women to join vocational programs like the ITIs, in polytechnics, and prepare them for manufacturing work.
Right. When I went, Prasad, we were 300 boys and 13 girls. So it had much hadn't changed. In one of the examples I saw from one of the companies, when they were going to campuses, they said, we want to hire 50% girls. So we want 50% resumes of girls. And that forced some of the engineering colleges to put some of the supernumerary quotas to ensure that. So do you think the industry can play a role in pushing even to expand this talent pipeline?
We can to a certain extent, but I think you have to look at it from a systemic point of view. You look from the family point of view, from societal norms point of view, and the government encouragement of women, and then the industry. All of us have to work together to make the ecosystem favor women into manufacturing jobs.
Absolutely. Like you said, China has shown us, China also was a very patriarchal society. Foot binding, all of that used to happen. And now their female labor force participation rate is about 60%. So
Japan has a woman prime minister now.
That's right. Yes. And Tamil Nadu has shown that with the right set of infrastructure.
Tamil Nadu and Kerala are really role models.
Yeah. So that, 90% of employees in electronics manufacturing are women today. So I think just dismantling some of these barriers needs for us to unlock this talent effectively. Thank you so much, Prasad, for your time and for all that you are doing in terms of setting targets and really consistently making progress on it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Any last words, Prasad?
I certainly don't think we are doing a big favor to women through all this. I think it's a competitive advantage to have more women in the workforce. And I look at it that way. And if we explore that dimension of how you can expand the talent pool, it becomes a natural action.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prasad. It was lovely talking to you and meeting you. At Udaiti, as part of our Close the Gender Gap 30 by 30 program, we are going deep into 8 high-growth sectors like flexi staffing, logistics, banking, financial services, and pharma, and have set an ambitious target to take the percentage of women in formal economy from 18% to 30% by 2030. In the pharma industry, over the last 2 years, we have been working with industry leaders, industry associations, governments, and other ecosystem partners to really address and dismantle the challenges that hold women back in this sector. If the conversation today spurred any ideas, thoughts, or questions, or you would like to collaborate with us, please do write to us. And thank you again for joining us on Udaiti Dialogues.